2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The guitarists use something called a plectrum, or a guitar pick, to be able to strum at that pace, and the downstrokes and upstrokes. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bar chords, open chords, and power chords. One of the first few chords, open chords, that I learned is the E major chord, which sounds happy in a way. And then there's the E minor chord, which sounds kind of sad or saddening, sullen. So we can learn the major chord version, which is going to be, if we think of in terms of tabs, it's going to be the open E string. We're going to use the middle finger to press down on the second fret of the second biggest string. Ring finger on the second fret of the third biggest string. Index finger on the first fret of the fourth string, and letting the other two strings ring out. Hey, happy 4th of July, and I hope you're having a good morning. So you've decided to pick up an acoustic guitar, or electric guitar for the matter. There are a few ways to go about this. Because of the internet, online music lessons on piano, drums, guitar, and bass have been widely available on sites such as Berklee Online, School of Music, such as pianote.com, drumeo.com, Scott's Bass Lessons, etc., etc. Depending on your learning style, having a guided teacher or instructor in music can help with learning the material much more quickly. I know that for myself, I needed in-person lessons, as well as time to teach myself and learn the material myself by learning to read guitar tabs. There are guitar tabs in which you read the musical notation as numbers of frets on which string of the guitar you're going to play, versus musical notation in which you're reading actual musical notation, similar to reading piano musical notation or any other instrument. That being said, there are plenty of musicians that don't know how to read music, and they are actually great musicians as well. Also, I think early on, it helps to establish early on what the goals are of becoming a guitarist, to become a songwriter, a singer-songwriter, a classical guitarist, a rhythm guitarist, or a lead guitarist. Each of those roles play different parts in a band setting or in a solo setting, or even just to entertain friends and family when you're in their presence. If you intend to sing and write music and play guitar at the same time, it helps to take vocal lessons concurrently. Otherwise, playing classical guitar or rhythm guitar by itself, or learning a few lead lines with rhythm guitar, is able to entertain guests and friends and family. I know for myself, I learned rhythm guitar first because one of my close friends at the time learned lead guitar, and we were in a band setting, and then we were able to um, have the dynamic where one person played rhythm and the other person played lead guitar. With acoustic guitar, or electric guitar for the matter, it helps to have hand independence in the left hand and the right hand. There's left hand technique, in which if you're right-handed, you can fret with the left hand and hold chords down, or hold several of the frets down for lead lines. And then there's right hand technique, in which you strum. It also helps to have some level of experience with time signature and key signature, knowing how quickly to pace oneself in a beats per minute, or timing wise in a song setting with a metronome. So if we're following along with one of these, a metronome, we can set the pace for our right hand technique, because there are multiple ways to strum with the right hand. So if we're going to strum on quarter notes in 4/4 time, then it would go, you would strum like this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are downstrokes. Typically, guitarists use something called a plectrum, or a guitar pick, to be able to strum at that pace, and the downstrokes and upstrokes. So when we introduce upstrokes, it's good to subdivide the timing of the quarter notes into eighth notes, such as this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. With downstrokes and upstrokes, it takes a little bit of practice to have an even level of energy and pressure in both directions, so that it sounds consistent in the downstroke and upstroke direction. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You'll notice that with the left hand, I'm actually muting the strings by just lightly touching the left hand, just lightly touching the strings, but not fretting them. Now we're going to introduce some left hand technique. Right hand technique, if you're right-handed, is going to be your strumming hand and your picking hand for both rhythm and lead. When it goes to your left hand technique, we will be fretting and holding down either bar chords, open chords, power chords. I think there are other forms of chords, but those are the main three that I know. Bar chords, open chords, and power chords. Over time, if you are practicing enough with your left hand on the frets, you will receive what are called calluses, in which is almost a badge of honor for many guitarists, in which the tips of your fingers, the skin on the tip of your fingers, becomes calloused and become hardened because of the tension from the strings. pushing back on your fingertips. One of the first few chords, open chords, that I learned is the E major chord, which sounds happy in a way. And then there's the E minor chord, which sounds kind of sad or saddening, sullen. So we can learn the major chord version, which is going to be, if we think of in terms of tabs, it's going to be the open E string. We're going to use the middle finger to press down on the second fret of the second biggest string. Ring finger on the second fret of the third biggest string. Index finger on the first fret of the fourth string, and letting the other two strings ring out. Okay, now we're going to combine left hand technique with the right hand technique. So we are holding down the E major chord on the left hand, and we're going to be strumming with the right hand. I'm going to be turning on the metronome. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That was our first lesson in open chords with the E major and the E minor chord for left hand and right hand technique. I hope that you are able to purchase an acoustic guitar or electric guitar this weekend, especially when there are sales going on at Guitar Center, on musiciansfriend.com, vintageking.com, several other websites such as Sweetwater. And let me know how far you get if you are just starting out. Best of luck, and please show me your results.